So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how to use variables in Python and what they are. In order to create a variable, you just assign some value to your variable. A variable name can be anything you want. Ideally, you would like to call your variable something which is intuitive. When you go back and look at the variable, the name needs to be something that allows you to remember what kind of values are stored into that variable. So for example, let's try a very easy example. For example, we want to go here and write our first variable, Mike's height, and we assign the value to 190. And now that we have written a variable, let's also touch on the topic of comments. And in order to write comments in Python, you use the hash symbol, and then after that you put your comment. And then, you can put whatever comment you want. These words are not going to be read by Python, are not going to be executed by Python. They're just there to help you understand the code. One other very important function of the comments is to prevent Python from executing those words that come after the comment, or that code that comes after the comment. You can also use this to, when you have some piece of code that you don't want to delete yet, you can just comment it out, so it's not going to be executed, and you can uncomment it later on, so then you can execute the code. Now we have stored the number 190 as Mike's height. Anytime we reference Mike's height, Python will output the number 190. So for example, if we now want to see how Python interprets Mike's height, what the output of that variable is, we can just print Mike height. Then we go here onto the terminal and we run the code. In order to run code into the terminal, you need to use Python and then the name of your script, .py, which is actually just the name of your script. And can you guess what the answer of running the script is going to be? Actually, this line of code is not going to output anything, because in order to see something here in order to see some output here in the console, you need to print it. So the only line of code that's going to return anything is line number 2, which we have defined as Mike height. So let's run it. And there we go. We see the number 190, which is the value which we have assigned to the variable Mike height. So every time we're going to use the variable Mike height anywhere in the code, it's just going to output what we have previously assigned to it. But we can also reassign a value to Mike height. If we do that, and now we say that it's 180, and we have written this piece of code after the first one, so it's in line 3. Now, if we print again, and we remove this just to see exactly what's happening, or actually, we comment this out, so this piece of code is not run. We comment this out, so this piece of code is not run. Now, when we run our scripts again, when we print mic height, as you can see, the output is 180 because we have reassigned a value to mic height. We have first assigned the variable 190, but in a successive line of code, we have reassigned the value. And it's this latest assignment which Python takes into consideration. So why would you want to assign a name to a number? And that's because later on you can have variables which have a lot of values to it. For example, heights, the variable heights could be, and please don't worry about the parentheses, etc. We'll cover them later, but a variable can be composed of any number of values, etc. Right? They can be quite long, and if we had to write all of this each time into our code, it will be impossible. It will, perpetuate errors amongst line, etc. So we want to keep it clean by assigning big lists of number or whatever big data you have onto a single variable name. This keeps things clean and tidy. Later on in the next videos, we're going to see what kind of data types you can assign to variables in Python, because as I was showing, I assigned an integer to a variable. Here assigned a list of integers to a variable, but we'll cover this topic in another video because it's a separate concept. So here it is, the topic of variables ends, and so does the video.